Good morning. So I'm here with the honor of introducing our 2011 WCV Legislator of the Year, Representative Dave Upthegrove. Dave has been named our Legislator of the Year really for about a dozen reasons, and I'm going to just talk about 5 of them. Last session, Dave led the effort to pass a bill that would ban phosphorus pollution in our waterways statewide. Not easy to do in this economic environment to pass a proactive bill like that would actually ban a product that is poisonous to our waterways. Dave helped, along with Representative Andy Billig of Spokane, help lead that effort and pass that bill, one of the 4 environmental community priorities. Dave also was instrumental in ensuring that we passed a bill that would ensure that we transition off the state's last remaining coal plant, the TransAlta plant, in a way that protects the environment, ensures jobs, which we care deeply about, and makes it work for business as well. Dave did that in a bipartisan fashion. That piece of legislation is a national model. As chair of the House Environment Committee, for the first time having jurisdiction over renewable energy and our Citizens Initiative, Initiative 937, the Clean Energy Initiative, otherwise known as the Energy Independence Act. Dave protected that legislation from the onslaught of some bills that would have gutted it without it being the broader solutions to some of the problems that lie within 937. These were direct attacks on the initiative. They were direct attacks on the people's vote for that initiative. Dave fended those off and helped us protect the initiative for a future debate on how we can better it in the legislature. He also, last session, we had budget as a priority. It's a priority for everybody in this room. It's tough out there, as you know, in terms of the budget deficits. This year, we're going to have another $2 billion deficit even before we get into session. Working with Dave, we were able to preserve key environmental programs in the budget despite the worst economy we've had in our lifetime. And then finally, another issue that Dave worked on, transportation. The environmental community cares deeply about funding roads and transit and our people and bicycles and pedestrian programs and stormwater. Dave was instrumental in making sure that every transportation fee package that went through the legislature actually had elements of those values that were important to us and would only support that legislation when those elements were in the bill. Dave worked very hard in that regard as well. It's just amazing how much Dave has done for us in the legislature. He's chair of the House Environment Committee. He really began with us when he did his WCV candidate training, even before he ran for office the first time. So he's one of us. Dave is an effective chair. He's a leader. He works in an effective bipartisan fashion. He's fun to work with. He's a dear, dear friend. Ladies and gentlemen, please, a warm welcome for our 2011 Washington Conservation Voters Legislator of the Year, Representative Dave Upthegrove.
Very nice. Thank you. Thank you, Cliff. Thank you. It was 1990. I was at the University of Colorado at Boulder working toward my degree in environmental conservation, and I was volunteering for a campus environmental group doing a 2-hour shift at an information table on campus. We were trying to educate other students about the cruel and inhumane use of steel jaw leg hold traps. And it seemed like those efforts didn't really make much of a difference. But that day, a young woman walked by. She had long blonde hair and a hippie skirt, and the old rusty trap we had on our table caught her attention. So she signed up for our group. We became friends. She soon became president of the group. And after college, we went our own ways and we lost touch. 6 years later, I get a phone call out of the blue, and it's her. and her name is Catherine Bragdon. And after college, she went to work organizing citizen initiative campaigns on conservation issues around the country. And in that year, in the year 2000, she was here in Washington State, running a citizens initiative, which passed. And that citizen initiative forever banned the use of steel jaw leg hold traps in Washington State. That is the power that exists in every person in this room. You have a passion, you have a vision for your neighbors, your family, and the state. And you never know if your words have impact. But let me tell you this, they do have an impact. We've seen that impact of our words, our action, and our work together. We've made progress in Olympia on many of WCV's priorities. We protected our streams and rivers from the pollution caused by phosphorus fertilizer. We passed an environmental budget that was fair. And as was mentioned, we became the first state in the nation to say, we are done with coal, we will shut down the plant. And it's been just over a year since we all celebrated the rescue of Maury Island from the jaws of a mining company. Which is just one example of the environmental leadership of King County Executive Dow Constantine, who also led the recent effort in King County to fund our transit system. So while the Dow Jones has had good days and bad days lately, our Dow has been solid as a rock. For me, all politics is local. I represent South King County, where I was born and raised, and I'm proud of our work to protect the majestic Green River Gorge and support the vision of the Green River Gorge Mountains to Valley Greenway. I'm proud of the success we've had to clean up toxic soil in local schools and daycares. But working in South King County, I have some big shoes to fill. I represent the district that once was represented by Congressman Adam Smith, another environmental leader who's with us today, who has been a champion of the efforts to fund cleanup of Puget Sound. As we look to the future, we see storm clouds, which is why it is more important than ever to work together to elect environmental champions at every level of government. And thanks to the state and the King County conservation voters, we are going to elect a pro-environment majority this November on the SeaTac City Council. As we look to the future, we see big coal companies pushing to export coal from Washington shorelines. This is a risky proposition. It has a history of failure, and it is a poor strategy to create jobs. Let's create more jobs by investing in environmental cleanup, not by selling out to the coal companies. A couple years ago, in order to get some balance in my life and follow a passion, I left my day job on the staff of King County Council member Julia Patterson, and I became a basketball referee. I now work professionally, year-round, as a referee for youth, high school, and adult basketball leagues. And I've discovered that there are many parallels between my job as a legislator and my job as a referee. In both cases, only you know in your heart whether you're being fair and doing the best job you can. In both cases, there are people literally yelling at you and criticizing you while you're trying to do your job. And in both cases, when the game is over, you quietly slink off the court, disappear, and everyone is mad at you. Which is why standing in front of you today brings me such great joy. To be here with friends, to be here with people united by common values, to look out and actually see smiling faces. It is a moment that I'm going to savor. It feels fantastic. Thank you.
do that, no. Your name's on it. So that's Dave's great Legislator of the Year award. Beautiful picture of Puget Sound that he can hang in his office or anywhere to remind him of what really matters here in Washington State.